Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Divulge show. My name is Kesh Susan, and I'm happy to host this show this day, even to hear from you, our guest. And today is a very awesome day. Wow, we are having a very diverse, conversation this day. Of course, dealing with mental health, and I'm happy to have my guest. So tell a friend to watch, to tune in, uh, anywhere, any other place that you are, in the house, you're walking, Facebook Live, and I'm so sure that this will be of impact even in your life. Karibu sana. And I'm joined with my friend and our guest, Mr. Sami. Mr. Sami,
Yeah.
what can we, when you mention Mr. Sami, who is Mr. Sami?
Thank you so much. Hello, viewer. My name is Sami Kafugi. I am a born again disciple of Christ. So, number one about Sami Kafugi is that he is a born again disciple of Christ. Number two, Sami Kafugi is a counseling psychologist, and he's also the CEO for Healthy Life Counseling and Consultancy, a mental health service company. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Sami, we have a lot of choices in career. We have carpentry, we have teaching,
Yeah.
we have the media platform. Why did you choose counseling and psychology?
Number one is I know this is a place of my calling. Number two, I have gone through a lot of problems, especially in high school. And so I have the heart of reaching out to that person who needs help, that person who needs somebody to talk to. They have a lot of challenges in their lives, but they have no knowledge about somebody that they can reach out to. And that one really gave me a lot of passion in doing counseling psychology. I love interacting with people. I am a people person. I love ministry. I do ministry. And when I'm doing ministry, I realize that I need to integrate between counseling and ministry to just give a lot of impact in people's lives.
Awesome, awesome. So yours is not, you've mentioned high school. Most of the time when people clear high school, they try different things. They take a year or two without going to college. But yours, as I can hear what you say, it's more of a passion.
Yes, it is.
Like a calling.
Yeah. And actually, I got to know that I will do counseling psychology in Form 4 when I was in Form 4. I knew at around July, I knew that I would go for counseling psychology. But because of the perception that people had for counseling and all that, I would tell people I want to be a cardiologist. But deep down in my heart, I knew this is the thing. I want counseling psychology. I am a people person. Yes.
When people are getting confused, with what they wanted to do after school, you knew very well that you're going to take counseling and psychology.
I knew very well. I didn't struggle to get what I will do. When applying for courses, I applied for counseling as the first option. When my KCSE was out, I never struggled to know what will I do. I knew what I wanted. It was straight in my mind. It was clear in my heart that this is where God is calling me to.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at Nisi Television and call this The Divulge Show. And today we're talking about a very awesome topic. We're talking about mental health. Now, mental health is a subject that is, widely discussed from different angles of life and different fields and spheres of life. Mental health, from the spiritual look, the Christian family, mental health is mentioned, whereby we speak about the peace of God that surpasses every human understanding. When you come also to our normal day-to-day life, Masimasika sang and she said in one of our songs that tukisalimio tunasemanga tuko poa, but deep down we are not good.
Yeah.
So you find that the whole aspect of mental health is mentioned. When you come now to the media room, we hear stories of people throwing themselves off buildings, things happening in the society, and you know very well that this matter cuts across. It really, really cuts across.
Yes.
Now, talking about mental health, Sami,
Yes.
what what can you say about mental health? How can you describe mental health according to you?
Mental health is a very big topic. It is a very big space. But I think when we are talking about mental health, we are talking about the state that a person is emotionally well, they are psychologically stable, they are able to interact with people in a productive way, they are able to work in a productive way. It is the state whereby a person is able to contribute to the society in a positive way, where you look at yourself, you're able to know your abilities, your potentials, your goals, and actually actualize them to be, or rather to manifest in your life. So it is the state whereby you're able to manifest that which you are able to actualize actually.
Wow, amazing. They say in the society, every person suffers a degree, a degree of mental health.
Yeah.
How true is that statement?
Actually, I have heard people say that we are all mad. It is the degree that matters. That's what people say. But I want to. I looked at a research by NIMH, the National Institute of Mental Health, and according to the research, they estimate that about 24.6% of people will experience mental health disorders in a given period of 1 year. And at the same time, about 46.5% of all people in the world will experience a mental health, at least one mental health disorder in their given lifetime. This is like to say that almost everyone will experience a mental health disorder in their lifetime. However, the difference comes in with how people deal with issues, depending on personalities, on the environment, and what they are exposed to. So what we could say here is that yes, because there are normal stresses of life, challenges do come because we are human. But how we deal with those situations, I think it's what people term as the degree of madness, as they say in quotes. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow. The Divulge mainly speaks of what is happening in the society. And we hear a lot of cases of what I earlier mentioned.
Yeah,
We have very problematic situations.
that's true.
Like for me, I think watching news currently it's mainly very traumatizing because of what's happening in the society.
Yeah.
From a counseling point of view, what do you think? What are the reasons? What are the causes of mental problems, mental disorders in our society today?
We have a lot of causes, which include what I will state.
Yes.
Number one is childhood trauma and neglect. In our childhood moments,
Yes.
some of us, or rather some of the people, undergo what we call trauma because of how their parents treat them, how the environment treats them. For example, a child who is born out of a rape case, they might be hated by people, and because of that hate, they grow with the mentality that people do not love them. And so when they grow up, they have a lot of trauma, a lot of problems in their minds, even socializing with people, and that one can really cause a mental health problem. Number two, we talk about some cases like having a long-term physical medical condition. For example, people who have like the chronic diseases like diabetes or blood pressure, they tend to feel like they are not part of the community because of because of their special diets that they have. And so somebody, for example, with a low self-esteem might even tend to hate themselves. Why? Because they find, I cannot take sugar, but people are taking sugar. So what is the problem with me? If they have not accepted their situation or their condition, then so many times we find people with such cases having a lot of mental health problems, whereby they have low self-esteem, they hate themselves, they can't interact with people. in such cases, we have people who have undergone, for example, some of the traumatic situations. For example, people who have gone through accidents. They have registered that accident in their minds, and so whenever something happens, they tend to be anxious, they tend to worry, they tend to fear so much, and so you find that they are not settled, and if that is not taken care of, it brings a lot of problems. That's where we find people going through anxiety disorders. They can't even be settled because of what they are going through in their lives. And as well, we have severe stress. I mentioned that we are human, so we have the normal stressing circumstances. If somebody is not able to deal with them in a good way, then they tend to bring a lot of problems in their lives later, where people develop stress issues, depression, and such cases. And that's where you're finding that because mental health has not been made a priority in our society today, there is a lot of issues going on. We are seeing a lot of suicide cases, a lot of murder cases, because mental health has not been made a priority in our society. And I think that is one of the problems that really needs to be looked at. I think in our society today, mental health has been looked at what I will term as madness. When you tell people I am going for counseling, they look at you as a mad person. The society today believes that when we talk about mental health, we are talking about a mad person. And I think that is one of the problems that really has resulted to a lot of mental health problems, because somebody doesn't want to be undermined when they go for counseling, when they go for therapy. They don't want to be seen as if they are weak in the society. Yeah, that is what I can say.
So they will hide, like they will go for counseling sessions, but they will not be proud of it.
Yeah, and if you're not proud of it, it means you have not accepted it inside you. And so because you've not accepted it, will not actually help. Yeah.
Wow. Do we have an age bracket that is, most prone to mental health problems?
I can't say that we have an age bracket. Reason being, it cuts across every person, from children. Do you know that children as small as 6 months can get stressed?
6 months.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yes, because for example, I was reading somewhere of a case, a child has been neglected. They are being breastfed, but after a long time, after they've cried a lot, they are not even changed their diapers. They are not being looked after. So they tend to feel nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about me. And that child gets affected as small as 6 months, 2 years. An elderly person as old as 90 years. You see, some people have the audacity of leaving their parents when they are well off, and they don't take care of their parents. That parent develops a lot of problems. They feel hated, and some even kind of like regret why they gave birth. So from the child to the old person, they all are at a risk of developing mental health disorders. Yes.
We have so many cases of suicide in our culture, in our society, community generally. Today,
Yes.
we have people, we've heard of people going live on Facebook with a rope on their neck. Very sad. We have seen people in offices taking drugs, killer drugs, and they found it and that kind of stuff. Why do you think the cases of suicide now, like are so rapid, or they are rapidly increasing in our society, other than mental health being a cause. Why specific? Why is the suicidal case a major issue currently in our society?
I think it has been hitting humans that taking away your lives is solving your problems. But somebody said that it's actually transferring the problem to another person.
Uh-huh.
So I think people have the mentality of, now because I am not able to provide to my children, I am not able to meet my needs, the best that I can do is taking away my life.
Yeah.
And you see, that is not actually a solution. It's, as I've said, it's actually transferring the problem to another person. So I think people need to come to an understanding that suicide is not a solution.
Very true.
Murder is not a solution. There is another solution. Talking. You can talk. You can speak out, and it will be a solution. So I think, and as well with the current effects of COVID-19 pandemic, I think that has really hit people.
Yes.
The economy. So they are like, even if, yes, I know I can get help, but I need funds to get the help. So that also becomes another problem. And so I think it needs to be even an initiative for the government to be able to deal with such cases even before they happen.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just begun. I'm telling you, this conversation is topless. Having this platform to discuss such heavy conversations. Conversations that the society is shying away from speaking. Why do you think we have adults, religious environments, we have spaces, but you say that talking about in our generation or a society, talking about matters, mental health is a bit stigmatized, or actually mainly stigmatized.
Yes.
Why do you think that is a reason? Is it because of the social atmosphere that we have to walk with masks, proving that we are strong and all that? What is your take on that?
Number one, I can say that religion has contributed to this.
Oh, okay.
Yes. um, yeah, we minister to people and we tell them about their place in Christ, their position in Christ. But some people do not know how to actualize that in their lives. And so I spoke to a person,
Yes.
and this person said, I know I am strong in Christ. But deep down in them, they are not able to really prove to themselves that they are strong in Christ. So we find that we preach to people about the strength in Christ, about the plan that God has for them in Christ Jesus. But then people are not able to see, or rather to bring it to manifest in their lives. So you find a person is going through a problem, probably a sickness.
Yes.
Let's take a sickness. They have a sickness in their body. And they know, and they even read that by the stripes of Christ, oh, I am healed. But to bring that to a reality in their lives becomes a problem. They just say it, they proclaim it, but they are not able to come to the place of bringing it to a reality. How? Depending on how they relate with God.
Yes.
Depending on how their relationship with God is. And so I think, in as much as we are preaching to people about being strong in Christ, in as much as we are telling people that this is your place in Christ Jesus, I think we also need to go to an extra mile. So that's why I'm saying that religion has contributed to this, because many people will lie behind religion.
Yes.
They will lie behind faith.
Yes.
But their faith is not active. It is not living. It is actually dead. So we need to be very careful with how we deal with ourselves and with how we deal with religion. Number two, I think when I was growing up,
Yes.
I would see mad people in the places where beans are thrown.
Yes.
And you see these people are being taken as at some point an outcast in the society. And I grew up knowing that Madare was the place for mad people.
Yes.
And you see that that's a very wrong mentality. Why? Because number one, it is not a place for the mad people. Even when I have a problem and I am not mad, I can go to Madare, speak to a psychiatrist, to a psychologist, or come to Healthy Life Counseling and Consultancy, speak to a psychologist,
Yes.
and I will be well. So the mentality that we have been put in, that certain places, certain medications are for people who are mad. So you don't want to be seen coming to see Sammy as a counselor. You don't want to be seen going to Healthy Life to see counseling services. You want to sneak in. And as I said, because you're sneaking in, you're not in there. You're not proud of it. So you won't really get help. Yeah.
Do we need to tell our spiritual authorities, to help us understand what they mean by our place in Christ, so that when we are walking in the paths of life, we don't find these religious statements or Christian statements superstitious, because actually they're not superstition, they work, because biblical values, they work.
Yes.
But as in line with what you're explaining, you find that the interpretation looks weird. I've had personal friends, and this friend will leave church on Sunday. They will be on the pulpit reading or preaching, and then they will go back to the house and cry. And no one will know this person actually is suffering from this kind of stuff. It's a depression or anxiety. But on the pulpit, this person was very vocal.
Yeah.
Encouraging the brethren.
Yes. Yes.
Witnessing. And actually, they will have this specific mask. And do not know that they have any problem. Everything, they will shower, have the coolest cologne in town, and put on that smile.
Yeah.
It's like an art mastered how to step out. But now back to the house, the trend continues. So do you think, or what solution now addressing? These are flawed that slides. What can you advise our spiritual leaders in line with matters to do with mental health? Even when you talk about matters faith, how can we bring matters faith home so that we relate with them, and we won't feel bad when I'm having anxiety attacks or I didn't have a good night. I went through something that is traumatizing. To be vocal or to knock his office, and I won't sound as if I'm less of it. Nimepungukiwa na imani ya kuamini ya kwamba Bwana anaweza kunikomboa, and I'm walking in this path of life. What can you say like that?
Now, number one, the Bible talks of brethren love. And I think that is one of the things that needs to be spoken of, even in our churches, in our places of worship.
Yes.
And as you've said, a person will come to the altar, they will preach, they will sing, they will minister, but in their lives they are going through a lot.
Yes.
And I think it's time that we walk as brothers, as sisters in Christ, even from the spiritual authority all the way down to the members in the places of our worship. Because, for example, in that case, when our praise and worship leader is actually struggling with anxiety, they are struggling with providing for their family. When I walk in love with them, I go and talk to them, and I have a time with them,
Yes.
and ask them, how are you?
Mm.
How really are you? How really are you? Without hiding, without saying as a norm, I am fine, thank you. Niko poa.
Mm.
Without just saying that, deep down in your heart, how are you? As a brother, as a sister in Christ, I must walk in that love to be able to reach out to that person and ask them, how are you doing? Go to their places, call them. I once wrote in my Facebook page, and I told people,
Yes.
it is good to call a person you have not talked to for a while. You talked last week. Give them a call, send them a message. How are you? And I think we also need to look at, even in the place of church, from apart from ministering, how am I? Apart from preaching, my pastor, how are you doing? Because you find that even the spiritual authorities, they carry a lot of burdens, a lot of burdens. The members, they carry a lot of burdens. The leaders in church, a lot of burdens. So I think we need to emphasize that love. We need to emphasize that love. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to this great short break, talk to us on our Facebook page, our social media handles. That is at Nisi TV, Instagram at Nisi TV, Facebook, on YouTube, and also on our mainstream media. And I'm telling you this amazing. When we come back, we're going to have a major, and great testimony of our guest, Mr. Sami, a counselor and a psychologist. See you on the other end.